Well, thank you for coming on my show.
No problem. It's a pleasure to be here.
And of course, many people in Australia may already know you because you're on Australian American Got Talent. But um,
Australian Idol.
would you introduce yourself though?
hmm My name's Angelina Curtis. I'm a 16-year-old singer-songwriter actor, and I'm from Perth, Western Australia.
Well, welcome. And let's talk about your biggest performance. So, being on TV and Australia got, Australia Idol. Um, how was it like being on stage and the
Oh,
competition
yeah.
and all the judges and I could name the judges. Their face looks so familiar and I bet you were so nervous.
Oh,
Being
it was
nervous,
it was
being out there
electrifying and
and
terrifying. Yeah,
the
but I loved it.
the arena being so full and the judges and all that. So let's talk about it. How was it? How was it? This
It was one of the most electrifying experiences I've ever had. It was the feeling and the adrenaline that you get when you're on a stage in front of the judges, of course, being Megan Trainor and Harry Connick Jr., Carl Sandilands and Amy Shark, like very full, well-known people in Australia, and then performing also on live TV in front of a million. Like it's just, it it was amazing. The feeling, the rush that you get the second you step out on stage and start um, performing and letting yourself be vulnerable and connect with the audience. It's just like nothing I've ever experienced before. And I've performed for big crowds, but that was a whole nother thing.
and I have to ask, what made you go for it?
I think the idea that I could really be myself as an artist and also play piano, and it's more about being an artist than just being able to sing well. It's beyond the technicality of it. It's who how you present yourself. And I mean that type of exposure is just I'm so glad they brought back Australian Idol, because that type of exposure kind of brings back to the 2000s show, and it just being on the first brand new season of a new show as well since it's been rebooted. That was something special because no one had experienced it like that before, and we were
Mhm.
all figuring it out together. And because I wasn't alive when the last show was on, I mean, I would have been one actually. And I've always been a massive fan of Damien Lee, who my mum loves, and she listened to him while she was pregnant with me, so it's kind of in my brain. But just the idea of experiencing something on that big of a scale, it made me more mature, and I think it really helped me realize how much I love this industry and how much I want to do
Mhm.
this.
And you made new friends, I guarantee you. And and you can correct me. You went to the final round. Was that correct?
Yeah, I did. I made top 8, which was pretty cool.
And did you ever thought that you make it to the top 8, if you mind me asking, or did you?
No, I was just I mean, I didn't know I'd get past auditions. I wasn't expecting anything. I just wanted the opportunity to perform for people in the industry who were well known, and like it was an honor to audition, and I didn't even care if I didn't get through to the next
Mhm.
round, because being able to play that beautiful baby grand piano and sing a crowded house song is the Aussiest you could get, and it just was so lovely. And um, the whole audition process was probably my favorite um, of the Idol experience, because it was so raw, and it was my first experience of having these massive cameras in my face, in terms of music, because of course acting, I'm used to being on camera, but in terms of music it was different, and really good difference. I loved the audition process of it.
Well, that's amazing. I gotta ask, are you gonna go for the Australia next musical? I know they have the my mind went blank now. I know here they have America Next oh, my mind went blank. I'm sorry. But when I get back to my mind, I'll go for it. But your music is out on Spotify.
Mhm.
and where people can find you. And do you walk down the streets and people ask for your autograph? You mind me asking?
Well, I've only been asked for an autograph once because I think that doesn't really happen anymore, sadly. So I
Hmm.
missed my chance of getting autograph signed. But it was
Right.
I get a lot of photos. I get a lot of people asking to take photos of me and then saying like doing a double take, like so it's weird. I mean, it's because of course I was in that bubble during Idol. I mean, we um we were very much kind of isolated from it all, and I had no idea of the impact because we filmed it in Sydney, so I wasn't in Perth, and I had no idea of how many people were watching from Perth and what life was like here while I was there. So when I came back, it was a really good brush of support, and I was unaware of it. I was kind of shocked because I'd just been living separately and focused on my performances, not really
Right. Right.
how normal life would be afterwards.
Hmm. I was thought now I remember I was going to say Australia Got Talent. Are you going to go for that or no?
Oh, reality TV shows are tough. They are difficult. So probably not, but um, I do love the experiences that I got from Idol. But I
I
think my
just
next kind of
I
focus
just
is recording music and
mhm.
performing and
Well, amazing. I just had to ask, and again,
yeah, yeah.
it's amazing. Um, I've seen your videos and your singing is beautiful. You have a beautiful voice,
Thank
and you should keep it up. Don't stop. And it's so you must had your skin, your hair stick up because on your arm, your leg, because you have everybody watching you, and
Yeah.
being there, and you have all these judges, right? And you have the
Yeah.
cameras, the
Oh,
lights, and everything, and everybody's looking at you, and
I
it's so
know.
dark,
So
right?
yeah, it's so vulnerable and it's so raw. But that's what I love about it. I'm an adrenaline junkie, so roller coasters and bungee jumping and all that stuff. And for me, performing is like that because you're exposing yourself completely.
Mm-hmm.
And if you make a mistake, you're people are going to criticize you, and you're going to get um I don't know, but social media as well. You're going to get made fun of. There's going to be
Right,
mean
right.
hate comments, and but the thing is, it's just it the fact that I love performing so much that will never stop me. And I think I find beauty in that actually. People having opinions because they feel like they can share them. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's it's tricky because I mean being famous, I'm not I wouldn't say I'm famous, but being in the public eye,
Right,
especially in the
right,
time of social media and being a teenager, I think it is difficult, but I think there's definitely some vulnerability of
right.
having the media in your
Mm-hmm.
face and I'm glad I've experienced that young
Mm-hmm.
because I feel like if I experienced that and I got a shock by it when I was older, I feel like I wouldn't be used to it. So
Mm-hmm.
I think yeah, I think it's good that
So,
experience is now.
if you mind me asking, how did you handle the media and the pressure when you're, going through this? You're
Hmm.
making going through and telling your stories. You're on TV, you're on
Yeah.
commercials, and you're going all the way to the top eight. Your cat. How did it feel?
Oh,
um, how did it feel with the media, with the pressure and all that?
yeah. I because I'm an actor as well. I've been really well media trained, and I think from a young age, being my mum's a great speaker, so I've been I can perform quite well under pressure, which is the whole point of being an artist. So I feel like if I didn't have that experience in the industry beforehand, and I wasn't um, really in control of how I presented myself to the media, I feel like that would have been a lot more difficult. But the fact that I am experienced in that area made it a lot easier and a lot less pressure because I know a few of the other contestants were struggling because all of the cameras, all of the lights, all of the attention on them. Whereas a performer, I mean, I love the spotlight. That's my happy place. So
Hmm.
um, it was easier for me, which is real benefit during Idol.
Amazing. And I don't know if I asked you this, but my last question for this is, what made you do it? I know many people are wondering, especially in America. America Idol is going on. England's
Mm.
doing theirs. British Got Talent. America Got Talent. Australia Got Talent. Australia Got Idol. So,
Mm.
and I know everybody's curious to make them comfortable. What made you, as a young teenager, to go for it, to do it? And I'd say I want to audition for this.
Mm. They the experience and the exposure and the connections in the industry that you make doing those shows, especially bonding with other people who are like you and who are artists like you. And it's difficult to find because as a teenager, I don't really have many musical friends. And I mean I've got a few, but it's rare to find. But seeing people connect on a level where we're all, even though we're competing against each other, it really felt like we were a team in this. Um, I loved. I just wanted to perform. I just wanted to get my music out there. I just wanted to um, give myself a shot at having a career in this wonderful industry. And I mean, Idol for me, that really did boost me quite a lot, and it helped me a lot, and it helped me experience on a minor scale what life would be like as an artist. So,
Amazing. And I have to, I'm just curious, do you still talk to the judges?
um, well, I think they are off doing their own things, but still semi in contact. I mean, I'm in contact with Harry Connick Jr.'s daughters. They came to Rottnest Island in Western Australia not long ago, and they had selfies with the quokkas, which they called quokkas, which I found was so cute. Um, but yeah, I mean, I'm in a lot more contact with the hosts. So I'm in a lot more contact with Ricky Lee and oh my god, it's been so long. Scott Tweedy, that's right. Who was actually a, a ABC childhood host, like on a prank patrol program, which I've
Hmm.
always loved Scott Tweedy. So it's like full circle moment there. But yeah, I'm in a lot more contact with the hosts than the
Well,
judges, but they're still keeping an eye out for us, which is nice.
that's that's good. The reason I ask you that because many people must be like curious, like, oh my God, she's still in contact, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah, yeah.
Um,
No,
now, your acting career, you were, My Mom is a Witch. You played Susie,
Mhm.
and then what can you tell the audience about that?
Wow, that was a long time ago. So that was kind of like a one of my first short films. Um, I think I was about 10 or 11, and
Hmm.
it was kind of like a passion project. It was this kind of black comedy, and I played the girl who gave the clown a heart attack with
Hmm.
mind control. It was really interesting. I love the script was really cool. Um, yeah, so that was a while ago. Um, yeah, I played Susie, who my mom is a witch who was making all these potions, and it was
Hmm.
kind of a secret. Yeah.
Well, the reason I ask is I know it's a long time ago, but everybody wants to be curious about this young lady who's been on TV, and
Yeah.
I have to bring it up again. I'm sorry. You of course you were in the Park Family. You played the Park Family in Strayed in 2019, I believe.
Ah, yes. Oh, that was
And
my very
it
first
talks a
short film.
little
Yeah.
story about it. It's a little girl that goes missing, and I'm not going to continue to ruin it, but I'll let you talk about it. What can you tell everybody about it? I know it talks about a little girl goes missing.
Yeah, it's a bit of a horror. So a little girl does go missing, but there's a subplot that really interests me in it. It's that the mother she accidentally runs over the dad and has to hide him somehow. So I was that was my first short film that I'd ever done. And I think I was an extra in it. I was about 9. Um, and that was one of the first jobs I got from my agent. So I was the very first time I was introduced to acting was when I was my mum put us forward for a Facebook ad, and it was Christmas lights, Perth City of Christmas lights, and she put us forward as a family of 4, and they chose me to be the main in the ad, and it was
Hmm.
on TV and everything, and I got an agent the next day, which is it's difficult to find an agent, and especially in Australia, and I think that really boosted me to be able to say that I have an agent. And that strayed role, which was an extra role, was the very first kind of acting job I got from an agent.
That's amazing. Congratulations on those roles. Do you have any other upcoming roles?
Oh, I I have had a really cool audition, and I'm hoping for a callback. I can't really
Talk
talk
about,
about
which I
it,
understand, which I understand.
but like it's really I really want this role, and I think it'd be amazing. And it is actually being filmed in Western Australia, so it's kind of close to home. And because I am in my second last year of high school, things are
Hmm.
ramping up, so I think closer to home would be probably easier.
Hmm.
But I do have a few songs in some films actually that are going to be coming out soon. There's a film called Everywhere, which is focusing on the World Transplant Games,
Hmm.
people who have had transplants, and it's kind of telling their story and how it was really unknown to the media that these games were going on. And it's a documentary, and I'm one of my songs which I have yet to release, so I've kind of written it for the song for the film. um it's going to be in as kind of like one of the main songs in it, which is an honor because it's Periscope Crew, which is a crew full of people with disabilities, and they've made something beautiful, and it's beautiful to be part of it.
That's absolutely amazing that your song is getting out on films and documentaries.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Congratulations. Um, you know, where do you see yourself in 10 years or 5 years?
I mean, hopefully touring or something when I've got more time with not having school in the way. But recording songs, kind of doing what I'm doing right now, but on a bigger scale. I think I've got another song of mine is in a Western Australian film as well, um, and that's just gone. I think I can say this. It's just gone to the Cannes Film Festival, which is massive. It's in France, and it's so good. And I'm one of my songs was last minute. Like they were like, oh, we want to find a song for the trailer that we're doing, or like
Mhm.
for a certain scene in the movie. And they asked me because in Western Australia, kind of everyone knows everyone. It's quite a small place, but I'm writing an actual song for it at the end, which is awesome.
That's amazing. Congratulations. Um, you know, I'm gonna ask questions because a lot of young actors and actresses, especially singers, are curious is that how do you work around your schedule going to school and, acting, audition, and then you're, singing and, how do you focus on your life and how do you find a moment to get your own mental health back to yourself?
Question for the ages. It is. It's not. It's sorry. It's not easy. I think working around a schedule, especially because I'm doing ATAR, which is a kind of like a really like it's a lot of pressure at an Australian school to be doing the course of ATAR, but it's there's not a lot of time to breathe sometimes. But I think that's the beauty in it. I feel like when I'm busy, that's when I'm at my happiest because I feel like I'm doing something with my life, and I feel like I'm working hard towards something, and it's paying off.
Hmm.
So even though it is difficult in terms of time wise, I'm at my happiest.
That's yeah, that's amazing. And what do you do for fun when you're not acting or singing?
I like doing things with my hands, like creating or making. So I'm an avid crocheter and I knit quite a lot. So um and I mean I've always had a love for movies, especially because I'm an actor. So and playing. But what I mainly do to recharge my battery is songwriting.
Hmm.
I've written I've written 185 songs. Um, it's a lot of songs that I need to release. I think I'm backed up for life now, but that's how I express myself, and it's how I reassure myself and process things.
Right. And that's amazing you have that many songs. Of course, yes, you need to release them, but it's
I've got so many.
um how do you write your songs and what kind of music do you make? Is it acoustic or is it like relaxing music? Is it for
Mm.
mental health? What kind of music do you hope to succeed in helping the audience and their
Yeah,
fan base and folks out there.
yeah. For me, it's really important to make relatable music so that other people can feel like they're being understood as well. I think it's a really powerful tool to be able to release music and have other people hear it and feel like they're being heard in the world, which is a beautiful international language of music. I write a lot of alt pop or soft rock, kind of chill, but especially more recently. Although my songs on Spotify do not reflect that because I mean, my first song I released on Spotify was quite an angry rock song that I wrote about a sibling rivalry with my sister when I was like 9, and I recorded it, and it got nominated for Western Australian Song of the Year, which was an absolute shock. But a lot of my songs, I've got like a country song, I've got a rock song,
Hmm.
a alt pop song, I've got a really alternative song. Like I haven't Spotify doesn't reflect my genre majorly, but I'd say I'm more. Have you ever heard of Lizzie McAlpine?
Yes, I believe.
Yeah,
Yes,
I'm
I
like a
have looked
mash
at that
between. I
song.
feel like in terms of genres, I'm a mash between Lizzie
Hmm.
McAlpine and Olivia Rodrigo. So I'm still. I mean, I'm still growing. I'm 16. I've got time to figure out my genre, and I'm very non-genre phobic right now. So I'm kind of
Right.
exploring all of the different areas and what I want to do.
Well,
So yeah,
you never know. You could be the next, possibly the next Taylor Swift.
isn't that the dream?
I know a lot of people are curious, and a lot of musicians, a lot of young actors and young actresses, and of course singers are curious, especially you. Do you look up any singers like Taylor Swift, Idele, Lady Gaga? Is there anybody out there, Pink, or is there anybody that you look up to? Because I'm pretty sure a lot of people who are
Yeah.
watching this interview later are like, okay, she has to be have a fan that she looks up to.
Yeah. Oh, recently Lizzie McAlpine because her she explores relatable music on another level. Her she's got these beautiful harmonies as well, and for me it's all about how music makes me feel, and I get goosebumps every time I listen to her. But growing up, my all-time and still my all-time favorite artist is probably unexpected for a teenage Aussie girl, but it's Elton John. And I think the way he uses piano as a tool to connect with the audience in performances, and especially in his music, to make music that you can rock to instead of just being classically mopey piano songs and ballads. He does that better than I think any artist I've ever heard of. So he's always been an inspiration in terms of songwriting as well. I mean, my favorite song in the world is Benny and the Jets. So the way he utilizes piano in that song to create more emotion is just so good. I could talk about it for hours.
Amazing, amazing. It's again, congratulations of everything that you accomplished.
Thank you.
And do you hope to go to Los Angeles and do some singing there as well, and go to New York, or
Yeah, oh, going to America is probably the ultimate dream. I think my market is I think I'm my as an artist, I can see my market like my target audience being more America, probably
Mhm.
more mainstream. And I think even though Australia is a beautiful place to explore different demographics, I feel like to really be able to make a career out of this, the American market is what you should aim for. And it is on the opposite side of the world, but I'm hoping in about 10 to 15 years I'll make it. And whether that be through my acting or through my
Mhm.
music or through both, I mean, we'll just have to find out if I keep doing films. Like, oh, I was in this film when I was, I think, 13, and it's called Cherubhead,
Mhm.
and it's just been released on an American Walmart site, which I didn't really know what Walmart was before, but now I do, and now you can buy it off there. But yeah, so that's a feature film that I was in, and I was the lead in it, so it was the first kind of lead feature film that I'd done. It's really like um, a horror. It's disturbing. It's a concerning type of film, and for some reason, people love to cast me in horrors, which I don't know whether to take offense to that or not. But I mean, any wrong. But yeah, Yes, that was a pretty cool movie. So I'm hoping I want my music and my acting to become global,
Right.
which is the ultimate goal.
I believe it will. I believe it will. Your
I
music
hope.
career is it's going. I listen to your music. It's beautiful. Like I said, you have a beautiful voice. You know, your acting is great,
Thank you.
amazing. So don't stop. Keep it up. Um, you know, I'm also curious, a lot of folks are probably curious as well, is did your parents ever thought that they would see you on TV?
No, I think my dad can sing a little bit, and my granny in England, she's an incredible piano player. Um, but I don't think my mum and dad were expecting to have a musical child, especially not um, to this extent, to be so obsessed with music. So um, yeah, I think it was definitely a shock to them when I really had to drag me off the piano to eat, or like or go to school or something. But um, I feel like to see your child on TV, that would be a surreal experience
Right.
probably. And I think as they realized how intense my love for music and acting and the performing arts industry was, I think maybe they were like, okay, we're gonna have to
Hmm.
know this industry well, because I've been determined as a little kid as well, um, to really put myself out there and make this
Hmm.
happen. And I think one of those drives, that drive to have in the music industry and in the acting industry, is so important. You need to be absolutely obsessed with it, and you need to be so passionate to a fault. So
Right.
tick tick.
And also, did they ever, your parents must have been so shocked, your family as well, that you made it to the top eight. Did,
Yeah,
you
they
know,
were. They were.
there must have been tears coming from your eyes as well that you made it. All the judges approved you. I have to say approved, but they said
Yeah.
you go in the next round, and your emotion must have gotten so much more when you made it to the top eight, especially you and your family. What was going
Yeah.
through your mind, and what was going through your family's mind watching you from the audience?
Well, I mean, for me, the validation from industry professionals, that was a key gratification for me, that I am, I can do this. I do have the strength for this industry, and I do have the drive. And I mean, 8 weeks of just intense, rehearsals, performing. I mean, I was 15 at the time, and I'm 16 now, but I was 15 and I needed a parent with me. So I took my mum, and I think it was such a blessing that I had someone else there to experience it with me. It's not easy being in the public eye as a teenager who's still growing and still trying to figure out who I want to be
Hmm.
and who I want to present myself as. And having someone by my side helping me and helping me navigate this complicated industry, um, especially because we both never really done this before.
Right.
And we were both experiencing it together firsthand. It was just so much easier, and it made
Hmm.
the process so much more enjoyable because I had someone to rely on. And that was a benefit of being underage on a reality TV show, because I could have my mom with me.
That's true. Family support. And I'm
Yeah,
guessing, I'm just gonna ask you flew to Sydney.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Many times actually, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. School had to suffer a bit that year. I missed an entire semester, but
Hmm.
I caught up.
So how does your classmate feel that you're, I mean, I'm gonna say it's sort of famous now. How did you tell your did you tell your classmates you're gonna be on TV? Or did you just like, I'm just gonna let them figure out.
Yeah, I kind of I wasn't really allowed to talk about Idol in the kind of first few months that it was happening, because it was still a secret. So um I told a few friends eventually when I was allowed to, but I didn't make it massively known. And I think as rumors started to circle, like, "Oh, this girl's on TV. I saw her on an ad the other day. Like, what's she doing? Why is she not at school? Why is she in Sydney?" I think then it kind of was like, oh, she's off doing a show. Um, yeah, it's I feel like America would perceive um so for example, if you're in an American school and then some kid was doing American Idol, I
Hmm.
feel like that would be received quite differently to how it would be perceived in an Australian school because um, even though even though I got a lot of support from my friends and everything, there was this kind of weird, strange disconnection when I came back to normal life, and it kind of felt like I'd missed out on a massive part, and that I knew people were talking about me, but I didn't quite know what. And I think I was a bit like, oh, I felt like there was a barrier between me and some of my friends because I missed such a huge chunk, and even though I think I experienced a little bit mild tall poppy syndrome, which is a very popular thing in Australia, where people kind of get a little bit like, oh, she's on a TV show, like she's trying to be full of herself. Like it's difficult. It's difficult to explain because I mean I experienced it on such a small level, barely, but
Right, right.
it's kind of gave me an insight on, like, have you heard of Kylie Minogue?
Yes.
Yeah, so she brilliant Australian artist, and then she went to England, and then they loved her there, but she was kind of pushed out by Australia. So it's really difficult to explain, but there was a sense of disconnection when I came back to normal life at school.
Hmm. Well, still, I mean, I I do feel understand what you're saying. You feel that little weirdness when you come back and
Mm.
everybody's looking at you and like, okay, why is everyone not talking to me? Like they feel like you're I don't know if it's just the right way to say this, but it's like they feel like you're too good for them.
I really didn't know because I didn't understand, and I think I've people might have seen me as like different, which I mean, if you're different, you're treated differently. That's
Hmm.
kind of yeah, it's weird. It's hard to
Yeah,
explain,
I don't.
but
It's
yeah,
weird for me
life
to.
was weird. Life was weird afterwards.
Right.
Yeah,
If you understand what I was trying to say,
yeah, yeah,
it's hard for me to
yeah, I
describe it,
do.
but you do feel that, right? You have people look at you like,
Mm.
is it okay to come talk to you, or do they, or they're gonna think, oh, you're gonna look at them like, oh, I'm too good for you, or something like that. It's kind of
And
hard
people
for me to
people think
describe
that,
it.
yeah, yeah. It's difficult, but yeah. I feel like it'd be a lot easier in America to actually do
Hmm.
American Idol because I feel like America's got this really strong reputation of celebrating um, everyone's success,
Right.
which is so good. And even though Australia does have that, I feel like America really there's emphasized, like,
Hmm.
in American movies there's stereotypical like jocks, and they're praised. So I don't know. That's just from my knowledge of media from America.
Right, 100%. It's amazing. By the way, I have to ask, it's winter there, right?
Yeah, it is. It's cold. I know. Not really typical of Australia, but it's cold right now.
Okay, I'm sorry
Yeah,
because
I'm very
you're
sunny.
not wearing winter clothes. That's why I have to ask.
I know it's cold, but not America cold.
Yeah, yeah, I just had to ask. So a lot of people like you said, you have so many songs. When are you gonna release them?
Oh, good question. I'm trying to figure out kind of a schedule I can release them because I'm not sure when the movies that a few of my songs are going to be released.
Hmm.
And I want to time it so that the release of the song happens with the release of the movie. But of course, these deadlines aren't completely strict, and we don't really know about it yet. So I've got another song called "Repay You," which is an angsty song, and I really want to release it, but I don't know if it's the right vibe for the next song I'm going to release, and if it's too disconnected. It's difficult, but I will release it eventually. It's just gonna take some time to figure out when the real timing for it is. And I mean, I'm recording actually tomorrow. I've got more time in the recording studio, just finishing up
Hmm.
"Repay You," which is going to be really cool, and just making the final tweaks of it and getting it mastered. And then we'll kind of figure it out from there, depending on how the films are going. But things are happening, which is cool.
Amazing. Again, congratulations. So when you're
Thank you.
doing your music, do you have to fly back to Sydney tomorrow, or is it just in your hometown?
Oh no, it's in my hometown. That's the good thing about Perth. I think everyone knows everyone here because it is a quite a small city. So
Mhm.
um, everything's, even though it's quite spread out, you do have a close circle of friends who you can just say, "Hey, I need to get something recorded. Are you free tomorrow?" And they say yes, and it's good. You don't have to fly to the other side of the country.
Mhm. And another question is, I know you're on Spotify. Are you also on Apple Music and Pandora?
Yes, I'm on everywhere, any streaming service. I'm on it all. Angelina Gibbs.
And how can
Self-promotion?
I think you said, but how can people find you?
Yes, so my name on all of those streaming platforms is Angelina Curtis. You can look up song names of mine like Chaos,
Hmm.
Rescue Me, Repay You, Old Land's Tale, Danny Blue, Fire Between, all that jazz. Well, it's not jazz, but all the names.
And I know you talked about your upcoming music. How about upcoming acting role? Is there any upcoming acting role that you? I know you probably can't talk about it, but do you have any upcoming project that's kind of happened? You know, maybe you can give a little
Yeah,
hint.
I still can't really talk about it, but some things are brewing. You just got to stay tuned. You just got to keep an eye on my social media because I will that will be the first place to know.
It's just one, right? Or do you have a couple many other ones?
um, I mean, with having an agent, there's always things in the air. So right now, I'm focusing on this one thing, but there are possible other ones that could be from connection. Oh, it's so difficult because with music you can talk about it so much more openly, but with acting, some things have got to be kept confidential. But you just want
Right,
to
I
say it because you're
understand. I
excited, but
understand.
you can't.
Don't
So it's like
worry.
I'm not the best secret keeper either. So it's like difficult, but
Right. I understand you
just got to
can't
keep an
talk
eye on my
about,
social
so
media.
I don't want you to, talk about, get in trouble. So, my next question is audition. What is
Hmm.
your advice for a lot of young actors and actresses out there who are going through auditions and,
Hmm.
it's they're doing auditions and they go to audition and they get turned down, and especially for females is that they feel like, oh, I'm not tall enough, or my hair is not long enough. Is there some I didn't have enough makeup, or my eyes colored wrong, or am I too short? What's your advice for a lot of them out there for auditions?
I think half of it is acting ability, but the other half is if you give off the vibe for the role and if you get a no. I mean, in this industry, in this acting industry, there's so many rejections. You get 99 rejections and then one, you got the role. Like it's difficult, and I think it takes a lot of strength to not
Mm-hmm.
feel cut down
Mm-hmm.
and feel like you're not good enough because chances are you didn't give off the vibe for that certain character, but they'll keep
Right,
you in mind
right.
for next time. So keep doing auditions because you never know, you could be perfect for another role that they do in the future, but you might just not be suited for this. Like I generally get the problem because I'm 5'8" / 5'9" ish. I'm generally too tall for roles, and because I'm under 18 and they generally want over 18-year-olds to play kind of teenagers, because that legally that's easier. So I'm in kind of a dead spot for acting right now in terms of if they wanted a 16-year-old or if they wanted to have a 16-year-old character, they'd get an 18-year-old to play it. So but I think there's certain periods in your life where it is difficult because you're between certain ages, but just don't
Mm-hmm.
let that discourage you. Don't change yourself
Right.
because you feel like other people will want you to look that way or act that way. Just try and insert yourself and your personality into the character,
Mm-hmm.
and that will hopefully be authentic enough that they will love you enough and that you get the role.
That's very good advice. I love that. Thank you.
Thank
Um,
you.
you started acting very young, and then you're singing. Is that also the same age, or is that before you started acting?
Look, acting happened when I was about 9, and it kind of came along with music as a result of music, because I loved performing, and it kind of just felt one in one, like I was storytelling, and with acting and music, you're storytelling. So, but music, we've always had a piano in the house, and I've always just you. If you're looking for me, you just find me on the piano still,
Right, right.
so writing a song. That's my kind of my default place. But music definitely was, as a younger child, that was more prominent than acting um, for a very long time. But I feel like it's on par now. Um, it's kind of equal. So I mean, it will always change though. Some things, sometimes maybe the acting industry, more things are going to be happening, and then less in the music industry. It kind of interchanges. But I think having that ability to do both and have both industries that I'm working on, it it means that there's never a shortage of work, which is handy.
Amazing. And my last question is, do you have any siblings?
I do. I've got a twin sister. Her name's Georgia. She's really arty as well. So mum and dad both produce creative kids, but she designed my album cover or a few of my song work, like song artworks. And she's so talented in terms of fine arts. We're polar opposites though, because I'm quite extroverted, and she's quite introverted. So it's two different sides of our family. So yeah,
Right.
but it's always good. I feel like being able to have a sibling growing up that also
Hmm.
made me more socially mature because I can kind of talk to her about my feelings and then put that into songs. So
Right.
it's been handy.
And I bet it was emotional for her to see you on TV that you're going to sing.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, for my whole family, it was a weird feeling, but it was there was a real because I didn't see them for months. Like my sister came over. My sister and my dad came over for one performance, but because Georgia was at school, and because I was missing out on school, and we're quite different. We do a lot of different subjects. It was kind of felt out of touch for a while, but um, I think that feeling of when we were reunited, when I came back from Sydney and she was at the airport, it just I felt like I was back home, which was lovely. So
Amazing, amazing. Well, congratulations. Keep
thank you,
I'm so proud of you. Your music's on all the platforms. You have a beautiful voice.
thank
Keep
you.
it, please keep it up, and um I listen to your music, by the way. So, it's really, you know,
Yay!
you're welcome. It's very beautiful. But
Thank you.
my next question is that, are you willing to sing a little song right now?
Sure, I can. I've actually got a piano right here, so it's kind of perfect.
Yes, please do.
Hmm. All right. What do you want to hear? An original
Well,
song or a song I
any
sang on
song.
Idol or any song?
Yes.
All right. In that case, I might
Sorry to fix my
do
mic.
a
That's why a little
no,
just
I might do a song that I did on Australian Idol for my to get into the top 12, which was a
Mhm.
touchdown performance from Harry Connick Jr., which
Yes,
is called
please.
"The Only Exception." It's by Paramore. It's a beautiful song. I've always loved
Yes.
it. Just make sure you can see the piano. And my cat's in the way of the pedal as well.
Do you have one
Oh,
cat or two cats? I have to ask.
I've got three.
Three
You're a
cats.
crazy cat, man.
Wow.
I know. Three too many, but you know
Wow,
they're
amazing.
loving cats. Apart from the occasional scratch, but can you hear me? When I was younger, I saw my daddy cry and curse at the wind. He broke his own heart as I watched, and he tried to read himself away. And Mama swore that she would never let herself again. And that was the day that I promised I'd never sing of love if it does not exist. But darling, you are the only exception. You are the only exception. You are the only exception. You are. Maybe I know somewhere deep in my soul that love that lasts. And we've got to find other ways to make it or keep a straight face. And I've always lived like this, keeping a comfortable distance. And up until now, I had sworn to myself that I'm good, with loneliness because nothing was ever worth the risk, and you are the only exception. You are the only exception. You are the only exception. You are. I got a tight grip of reality that I can't let go of what's in front of me. I know you're leaving in the morning when you wake up. Leave me with some kind of proof it's not a dream. Oh, baby, are the only exception. You 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 are. Oh, darling, on my way to believing.
Amazing. Amazing.
Thank you.
Beautiful, beautiful voice. Thank you. Thank you for
Thank you.
singing that. That's one of my favorite songs, actually.
Me
Um,
too.
yes, that's amazing. That actually is my favorite, one of my favorite songs. And you have a beautiful
Really? Oh,
voice. It's been an honor for you to be on my
thank you.
show. It means a
Oh,
lot.
likewise.
And I would love to have you back on my show and have you sing
Oh,
again
I
for the
I would
audience and
really love that
here
again.
in America and for our audience in Australia, and
Mm.
again, thank you again. Your beautiful voice, keep up the good work. I can't wait for
Thank you.
all your music to be released and your
Yeah,
upcoming
they
acting
should.
projects and we'll definitely stay in touch. I'd love to have you back on my show. So thank you again.
Yeah. Thank you so much. This has been really lovely. Thank you for letting me
You're
play
very
as well.
welcome, and I'd love to have you back. We'll definitely stay in touch.
Brilliant. Yeah, will do.
Well, thank you again for coming on.
Thank you so much for having me.
You're very welcome. I'll talk to you soon.
Talk to you soon. Bye.
Bye.